live from the Pro Tour in New Jersey. As you see below, as I peer out my hotel balcony, those are all flesh and blood players getting ready for the Pro Tour tomorrow night. LCAS Haven podcast starts now. What's up, gentlemen? I'm here with the lovely Cody Johnson with an amazing Reinar build. This is our setup. This is our encampment for the evening as we play cards, drink beer. I do have a little story I want to start off with. On my elevator ride up to the hotel room was with Rudy from Alpha Investments and Mr. James White. Pretty amazing elevator ride up. I mean, how do you not? I mean, pretty much I can just go home now. What a great way to end the weekend.
Did you touch James White? Like just accidentally?
I didn't
even.
I'm picturing like the Captain America scene where like that actress like right after Captain America gets the injection and she like touches him and goes, ugh. Like
she's like reached out and touched his chest.
Yeah, I'm picturing Jason doing something like that.
I will say, Rudy had a bunch of his cronies in the elevator with them. So the fact that you said a Captain America is hilarious. Because I said, "Am I going to get beat up on here?" That is what I said when I entered the elevator because that's how I felt. I was surrounded by all the cronies.
Oh, but then you missed your shot though, because the line is supposed to be, "Before we get started, does anybody want to get out?" That's what you should have said, just to see the response. Like, see what everybody in the elevator says. What
happens? James like, fucking.
Or we get started.
Yeah. James immediately gets off, and then Rudy and those guys just like tighten their shirts and they like roll their sleeves up. And you're just like, oh no.
Oh, fuck! Wait, I didn't think this through.
So I will tell you the most amazing start to besides the fact that the hotel is like 4 steps. It's a great location. So. Great job on picking this location. I don't know how they scout this out from New Zealand, but they did a damn good job of it. Just the hotels and the proximity to everything that is America is pretty awesome. But I got to meet Harry, got to meet Lee. We'll get into what happened with Toby later, unfortunate events. But I got to embrace Harry. Like we definitely man-hugged that out when I got to meet him. So that was amazing. I got to meet Hayden from Arsenal Pass. That was because I was talking to Michael Hamilton, who was on the podcast. Yep. And so got to meet him in person. And then Alan and Ian, who, if you haven't listened to their show, they started way back forever ago. Got to meet them. So
if you have any appreciation for wrestling at all, too. Like, they throw that in there, too.
Ian's your guy. Ian's your guy.
Man. Sure.
Which is funny because me and Ian talked about wrestling and we talked about lacrosse because he used to be a lacrosse goalie for New Zealand. Like who knew New Zealand even had a lacrosse team? And so we're talking lacrosse because Mason had games. So I was talking about it, getting updates, and so just
that's awesome.
The international like gathering of meeting these new people, like very awesome. And I'm playing in the calling. I was putting the feelers out. I'm not going to say anything because people tell me this stuff in confidence, but there's going to be some interesting shit going around tomorrow at the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
There is definitely some things that are a little bit different than the norm, which will be really cool. Mm-hmm. People definitely are going to have some spice tomorrow. So I'm excited. As a calling player, we get that crystal ball, which I'm really excited for that crystal ball.
Is it safe to assume that we could expect like some sort of like Facebook shorts and shit like you guys did when you were in Vegas last year? Like, would you mind like pulling yourself up every once in like fucking twice a day or something like that and saying something?
Let's say I was really smart. Okay. Let's just pretend that was the thing. I should have done that when I was in the elevator with James White and Rudy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, if we're being honest, if we were content focused. Like that was like our goal as people, like was to make our channel big. Like that would have been a priority, right? To be like, oh my god, I gotta put this on Instagram. Like
we're gonna blame Cody a little bit because he had sent a message. The table was ready, as you can see here, and the beer it said is in the sink on ice, which it was, and it's fucking amazing beer. So
remind me next time I travel that I'm traveling with Cody because he sounds like he's really taking care of you.
Cody is taking care of me. See, this is what happens when two men of our age, share a room together.
I'm no longer offended that you didn't even ask to room with me. Now I get it. Like next time I'm not talking to you or Blake. Like it's just
the reason I didn't.
Cody's gonna be the new. He's gonna be the new hot one to stay with everybody in Minnesota is gonna be competing to try and get to room with Cody.
Well, that's funny you say that because all the Minnesota guys are like, "Are you coming over a BRB?" I'm like, my hotel is right there that I can touch. I can piss on the convention center with a strong wind out the window here. Why would I drive 20 minutes away when Cody has the executive suite set up, ready to roll? Makes zero sense.
You're in New Jersey, so you could just piss out the window and like nobody would even care, right?
They'd be like,
you're
probably not
too.
It's like, oh, jeez, that guy's doing it too. You might get hit from above if you're not careful.
Don't lean out too far. So I'll allow it because it's Cody. Like I heard it was Cody. I was like, fucking sweet. That's fine.
Well, in the fact that you said you were initially traveling with the wife.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So that was the main reason. I mean, it's a little awkward if I'm sitting in the middle of you two in the bed. I don't even know. It's fucking weird.
You could cuddle.
I know I could, but it's just a little weird.
Jason, like you walk into the hotel room and Jason's like, dibs on the bed. Dane's like, I guess we're sleeping on the couch then?
Chelsea's like, look, you're sleeping on the couch. It's like, what? Wait,
what just happened?
How the fuck am I here now?
Got here.
And Dane's laying in the living room on the couch and he hears the door shut and he's like, oh, hell no. Oh, no.
Jesus Christ. Well, I'm glad you're having fun. I'm happy. I'm happy we're all like that. The comment about how the last podcast was boring, which one, fuck you. Blake and I are intelligent. Blake and I are intelligent. We're whatever. We're I can't think. We're entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a bitchy comment. Somebody was whining in the comments, which obviously means we did something right. So
right. I mean, you have to stay the course. The course is one bitch comment per podcast in the comment section. If you don't have that, then why did we even show up this week?
Delete the fucking video. It's pointless.
Yeah, just take it down.
100%. So it's an amazing event. It's really cool. Just see James White here. To see it's weird because I was walking around like, well, they're definitely not Americans. It is funny how when we're all people. We all dress the same, but we are definitely not the same. Like you can tell, like your groups of American tables, European tables. It's kind of funny. It's like we all dress just a little bit different.
Yeah.
Which is fun. It's going to be amazing. I've never got to play Fab and trash talk other countries. This is going to be great.
Did you learn insults in other languages just in case?
No, I don't know any. I'm just going because we're in America. We're speaking English.
You've got one though. You've got one down. If you sit down against anybody from like the UK, anybody from Australia, or anybody from New Zealand, you've got a swear word in their language. You just call them a cunt. That's what you do.
Well, that word is 100% going to be used.
Just how do you?
It's almost like a term. It's a term of endearment for Aussies and Kiwis.
I don't know, but I feel like it's
I don't call them a cunt. We're not even friends.
It's like, to be fair, they use it much more liberally and as like a joke a lot more. In America, it's still like, weirdly enough, it's a swear that doesn't hit on TV, right? So like they wouldn't say cunt, but they'll be like, oh shit, and like those, you can't say one and you can't say the other, but it's like the opposite of what you would probably think. It's like, I don't know, Americans are weird. We pick weird words,
dude. You gotta understand that we were founded by a bunch of fucking real tight knit. I don't know.
Yeah, and then they went.
The people that were being persecuted for being too like
neglected Brits.
Well, being too like prudish, and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here." You have weirdos, and they're like, "We're gonna go make our colonies." That's where we came from. So we like to think we're all badass guys, and we kind of are a little bit, but where we started wasn't necessarily like the most badass thing. Like we weren't Vikings coming across the ocean. We were fucking
Some of us were
people with like weird shaped fucking hats and like the white scarf neck things.
We're from the Midwest. We're pretty much all of Viking descent for some reason.
Yeah, I got strong Norwegian background, so I'm sure there's Viking blood and a lot of failure. Because if it has anything to do with Vikings, there was failure.
They choke. Always choke.
Yeah, and I'm literally looking for the wild game right now because speaking of choking, that's probably going to happen tonight.
No, man, dude. The wild, they're like my last flame. They're my burning hope for Minnesota sports. Like that's it.
Like I thought, are we talking ex-girlfriend, last flame? Like when you said that, I'm like, so you're talking your ex-girlfriend? She was your last hope, but now you have a wife. I'm confused right now.
I'm not a fair weather fan, but like I will lose interest if like the things aren't interesting to me. Like I don't really get into like the off season like drafts,
sure
who are we picking up, and like all that stuff. But it's like football, I've lost interest. Basketball, never was interested in the Timberwolves. Like soccer, I didn't know we had a soccer team. But like the hockey team, the Minnesota Wild, like since they became a Minnesota team, when we didn't have a team after the North Stars, they have been like the one team that I've been like, come on, I'm gonna be a fucking fan. You're gonna win the Stanley Cup. It's gonna be a fucking great day, and I'll probably be that way till I die. But
yeah, it's a Minnesota team, so
it's good.
It's okay to be that way. There's always the hope. The issue is you could be like me and be a lucky Cubs fan who was born in a time period where we actually won, or you could be the Cubs fans who died in like year 98. And then it was a decade later before, we won one. So,
this is a cheat. This is a little bit of a cheat. I got to experience it because my girlfriend in college was a big Giants fan. And
okay. Yeah.
So I'm sure she was.
Yeah,
their draft.
She was a giant what fan?
She was from New York. She was from Albany. But
does she like a real thick dick? Running over 60 cards?
I wasn't a big fan of the Vikings. I had kind of lost interest at that point. This is before like the Minneapolis Miracle and all that shit. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll cheer for the Giants for like 3 years. And like then they won the Super Bowl and I was like, oh my God, my team won. And then I'm a Minnesota guy, so that will never happen again. But it was fun for the time being.
It's good. It's good that you went back to the Vikings as a born and raised Cowboys fan who was told as a child that I could either be a Cowboys fan or move out by my father. I'm not allowed to be friends with Giants fans. It's like a rule. I was told as a kid, we hate all Eagles, Giants.
You can hate the Eagles. I feel like everyone hates the Eagles. Even like Philadelphians.
Most of them, yeah. Now it's easy to hate the last team because they're the commies. We got the commies in the division now since they renamed them. So
nobody, the worst name ever.
It's so bad. How did that in make DC, that through? How did that make it?
I don't know. There's a million names that are better than the fucking Commanders. Hey, the Commander.
Yeah, commies.
Yeah, nobody thought, what are we gonna call it? Like when we chant, let's go Commanders. That's too many syllables. Let's go commies.
Someone's like, no, it's the same syllable. It's fine. Commanders. Let's go command. It's fine. It'll be fine.
It just doesn't work. Yep. It's okay. Daniel Snyder probably wants to be called Comrade. Like he probably likes the idea of it because he's
oh God.
The darkness.
We're off the rails. Do we want to talk
way
about
off the rails? We can
talk about the Naga and Hearthstone now too? Is that we're just hitting all of the off the rails?
No, I'm good with that. I am printing some Blood Bowl stuff right next to me. So if you hear any like that's because you probably don't hear
print almost every podcast. No one ever it doesn't come across, so don't worry about it. Anyways, so Cody, can you hear us, or is Jason got headphones?
Cody cannot hear us, but I can translate if you have questions for Cody. So Cody right now is adjusting his deck. We've ran 2 different matches. We're about to run a third match. We ran Kano into it. We ran Briar into it. Now I'm going to run Chain into it. And then we'll probably eventually run Starvo. So just kind of adjusting to certain deck types to get the right mix.
And you're doing the standard like play one game, make drastic changes. Like play one game, 4-card swap. Play one game, 3-card
No,
swap.
we did not do one game swaps. We just did. So the first couple games was for my benefit because I need to play Kano because Reiner can run 3 null pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you right now, cut this out. I don't want anybody at the calling to hear this part. I'm going to tell you guys.
I am not cutting stuff out for the record.
Just cut this
nothing's
part out.
Nothing's getting cut.
Nothing's getting cut.
This is top game. This is top secret. You can't let anybody hear this.
Say it if you want. I'm not cutting it out.
Kano can do a lot of fucking damage really easily. Really, even against 3 null rune. Yeah. Even against 3 null rune, he can just fucking like. You find.
I like how he's saying
as you're playing. You just find you like we were playing it. I'm like looking at my hand. I'm like, okay, holy shit, this is a pretty disgusting line. I'm gonna pitch these 3 cards being Tome of Aetherwind. I had 2 E pots out, a D pot, and I pitched a Blazing Aether, a Wildfire, and a Tome of Aetherwind. That doesn't turn out to be very good for your opponent when you pitch those 3, and then they immediately go on top, and you get 2 of them, and it's unbelievable. Because I had 2 more blues.
I love.
So I was able to get It's insane.
Did you know? Okay, wait till you hear this, Jason. Did you know that you can't block arcane damage with cards from hand? Like you have to pitch. It's crazy. Like you can't just block it. You have to only use your.
I understand
that. That's nuts.
But I'm telling you, there's some insane shit that this deck can just come out of that.
Did you know that, Blake? Did you know that there's insane shit that Kano can do damage? And like,
I will say, I think sometimes people underestimate how quickly you can just be like, "Oh, you die here."
That turn was like
15 life. Good luck. Dump.
And then you can kill me. It's just disgusting some of the amounts of damage that you can find.
Couple weeks ago, I went wildfire, blaze, wildfire, snapback in constructed and killed somebody from 38 or 36.
Well, that's
they were
what happened.
36, and so you can do some pretty crazy things. So do we want to talk about this Q&A?
Yeah,
We've got
Q&A. Want to hit the Q&A for sure because that's some.
So the Q&A. The first question I heard is, why the hell did they print Starvo? So as we're doing the Q&A, which I didn't pay attention to because I was too busy catching up with people from other countries, we're actually playing a little chain. This is like the first time we podcast, and there's a live game going on while we do it. We have Reinar versus Chain while we talk about the Q&A. So fire up the Q&A. Me and Cody are going to play some games while you do it. You don't really need to talk. We can figure it out as we go.
Yeah. If you guys have anything, if you've got something to interject, just bring it in. I've got I went on Discord real quick and I just copied and pasted the what's it called? Mal Zenith is the name. So thanks to him. Shout out to him. Make sure we give him credit.
What's he from?
Mal Zenith.
He's from something.
I'm not 100% sure, but he transcribed the Q&A. And at the end, he was like, my fingers are exhausted because he transcribed the whole thing. Question 1 was, Starvo, what the hell?
Yep, that was the first question.
And he said that James White's answer was a tier 2 hero during development because Briar wasn't errataed and Plunder Run wasn't banned. So it lost to Briar, Chain, and Prism.
Which we called.
So they thought it was fine. Yeah. And said they'll be focusing on having more foresight to what the formats will look like in the future. Which, I mean, I think everybody kind of acknowledges that that's the case, right? That if Briar wasn't errataed, it would make all the difference in the world. Because she could technically, like, there's a potential that she could 1/3 block could block for 6.
Yeah.
If, or 7. And then all of a sudden she can 1 armor piece and 7 block. She could skull cap and grasp with 1 7 block from hand and block an entire revealed token. So it's like, obviously that makes a huge difference. I appreciate that they like it in all of this, right? Like one of the things that they've done well is they just acknowledge that they screwed up, right? It's like Duskblade, we made a mistake. Starvo, we made a mistake. Like a lot of companies just would kind of gloss over that and try to move on. So
I mean, when was the last time that Bandai did a Q&A? You know, like
Yeah,
they
they don't do
care.
or they do the whole it's like when they do the town halls with politicians, like Americans, like they love to do that. I don't know if other countries do that, probably not, but they do the quote unquote town halls where they only let people who believe what they believe, and then if anybody asks a question off topic, they just dodge the question and get around it. Like, credits James White for answering questions.
Yeah.
You know, question number 2 is great. Question number 2, he goes, somebody said, if I gift you a PTI, will you play in the Pro Tour tomorrow? He said, no, I'm a bit rusty. So I thought that was a pretty great one. Question 3 was interesting because he said, can we expect a 4th hero in the upcoming set? I guess the answer was, well, we want to talk about it, but we can't.
Ooh.
So I'm
really.
I'm not sure.
I don't think we're getting a 4th. It seemed like, I don't know. It seems to me like
possible
he's just saying that, like,
yeah, it's possible they're
not
referencing the judge thing. Yeah,
that
they could be referencing the judge thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just don't want to talk about a new set at all.
Right.
Yeah, they just want to keep it quiet. He doesn't want to. In that case, he just doesn't want to let something slip. So, question 4. Question 4 was, with Uprising, what did you guys do internally to have a more level playing field in Classic Constructed? He said, the expectation that every hero is tournament viable isn't realistic. It always ebbs and flows. Can't promise you that we can make all heroes work, but we think that Uprising will shake up the Classic Constructed format, which will be great. And we do a lot of internal testing.
Don't have attack yet.
That one's interesting to me because he's saying that, you know, he thinks that he acknowledges something that I think oftentimes people try to act like isn't fair, which is, well, you know, every hero should be viable. That's the whole point of having a hero-based format or a hero-based game. And he said, like, every hero is not going to be viable in every format. Like, that's just the way that things go.
So all you Azalea mains, shut the fuck up. It's the way it is.
It's what it is.
2 and 3.
Get over
every
it.
hero
Get
can't be
over
viable.
Yep.
Deal with it.
Yep. And then a 3 attack.
Then he asked, somebody asked, can we expect more like hero reskin similar to Bravo? And then he said, yes, happening sooner than you think.
So that wouldn't surprise me to see a reskin either in Uprising or the next supplemental set.
Right. Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a thing they start to do and try to like buff heroes. I do, as much as I want it to be. I think the common belief is, oh, it's going to be
it's gonna be
there's no it's gonna be a new Kano.
It's gonna be a reskin to Prism, and so they can give out more Judge promos. That are just all Prism cards again. Just a new cycle of all the promos are all fucking Prism.
I think everybody assumes it's Kano, but I think they're very, very careful with Kano. Like, if you watch the way they interact with Kano, they don't play games when it comes to Kano.
So it could either be Kano or it could be Katsu going where they're going.
I could see like a reskin.
Yeah.
Well, so looking at the rotation of like the way that the land, like the regions are ordered, like it's Mysteria next, right? Mysteria and
I think that's what they've said.
Or is it Metrics? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
but that'd be super cool to see like a reskin costume.
2 and 1.
I'd be happy with that. Bergie would lose his mind.
So question number 6 is really cool. They asked, is there a timeline of release for more lore for the game, like reading material wise? And he said, we've recently hired some established fantasy writers to start building up more lore. Books will be coming in 2023. There will be more lore coming through the website as well. Higher level of detail and production quality than what you're used to for the web lore.
Which is fucking awesome.
I think it's awesome. I think having some high level, having some high level lore is really good. Getting more of it out there is amazing. It's perfect.
And I just want to say, Legend Story Studios, if you're listening, or Jason, if you come across them, please fucking have Michael Kramer and Kate Redding do the audiobooks for your full-length novels you're having written right now in the world of Wraith. That would be fucking amazing. I would lose my shit. Like I would lose it entirely. Please do a novel. I would die.
This next one is interesting. This is one where it'd be cool to get everyone's thoughts in response to it. He said, Somebody asked, do you have any expectation for how long a hero will remain in a season / length of time before they get living legend? And his response was, one set release cycle is too fast. Has to do with the earlier Starvo issues mentioned. Like he said, it was tested with other stuff live. And then the number of living legend points per seasonal programs will be adjusted accordingly. 3 or 4 months is too fast. Okay. So that's interesting to me that he's basically saying like the point system is going to get adjusted again when we've had a points adjustment once already.
It sounds like they're almost going to be like they're going to acknowledge that like the points will have like a regular rework, or like it's going to be like a constant checking out how it's working and then
I think
adjust it. Well,
I think with
don't mean to cut you off. Jason, unless you guys are talking, would you mind muting? Because like some of your like little like noises and stuff are coming across when Blake's like reading questions and stuff.
What's coming across?
Like, we don't have anything. You were telling Cody that he hadn't attacked yet, or like you didn't. Whatever. Like shit like that.
I won't do that anymore.
No, that's fine. Just if you want to mute it.
Yep.
But anyways, Jason, your thoughts? Or Blake, I interrupted you.
I was just saying, I think it's interesting because like it's cool that they're acknowledging they're going to rework it. I do think that it's proper to do it now, because if you look at how many points they were giving out, it was definitely the ratio was way too high for some of these smaller events. Like I think the perception of how big and important pro quests are in relation to how many points they were giving out. Like some of these pro quests, it's the same people playing over and over.
Yeah.
Some of the pro quests they're 20 people. It's like you're giving a hero 30 points for a 20-person event. That seems crazy to me.
I also was thinking like it would make more sense to me if they weighted it based on volume of participants. So like you're playing in the calling, or like you're playing in the calling Krakow, and there's 132 participants, winner gets 132 points. You're playing in United States Vegas calling, where there's 560 participants, winner gets 560. Like obviously like not that extreme. But like I think weighting it like that makes way more sense to me than like both of them give you the equal points.
Well, if they would do it so like they weight nationals. So nationals in the world, other nationals are 1 points. Smaller nationals are another, like mid-size, and then the U.S. nationals are more because they assume, and it correctly, we're right, that it's bigger. So it's easy to do that at ProQuest. You could say any ProQuest 20 and under gets X points. ProQuest 20 to 50 gets X, 50 and over gets X. And you can weight the size of event in you just scale it based on preset numbers. So you're not like saying, oh, if there's 130, it's this. It's like, no, if it's 100 or less, you get this much. 100 to 200, it gets this. 200 to 500, it gets this. Something like that. Because they can scale it.
They have to extend that scale out that far then.
Right. Yeah. So you just set the scale so it goes all the way up to like 1,000 at any event, even though it sounds crazy. You're just like, look, we're just future proofing at this point, you know. Next, what they have next?
Question
when will question 9? I think. When will replacements be? When will replacements be made for LL'd heroes? There we go. The question was definitely it was this one was transcribed clearly very quickly. He said the intention with the Living Legend mono was that some talents or classes will take a break for a bit. Players should have confidence that another light illusionist will replace Prism when she LLs, but not immediately. So there's no guarantee that like if Starvo goes away, we're gonna get another elemental guardian immediately. It's just like it could be a while,
and they don't need to replace him. If Prism were to go, they would need to replace her, but they don't need to replace Starvo. There's plenty of other. The card pool is still good.
I was gonna say, I'm sure that there's gonna be some evaluation there where like if you lose the light illusionist right now, you have a huge chunk of the card pool that people can't play with.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Because, Guardians and Elemental heroes have a ton of options.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is a little bit in the face of them saying that their intent was to, because it was an interview. I can't remember. I'm not going to quote anything, but there was an interview where something along the lines of if a hero hits Living Legend, they want to have enough heads up where the next set coming out, there will be a print of a new hero replacing them, which obviously that's not the case. They're planning on slow rolling it a little more, which is totally fine with me.
Yeah.
Just
I think to your point, I think to you guys' point, it'll depend on like the hero that it is specifically, right? Because like
if we lose
it's
a rune blade, it's fucking fine. You
sorry,
play
sucks
one of
to
the
suck.
other 4.
Yeah, there's 67 rune blades.
Sucks to suck.
All right, question 10 is actually really cool. This one's got a long answer too. So question 10 is, Fi in Cantonese means fast. Is there any relationship to this in his gameplay? Fi is actually the hero that James White mentioned at the beginning when he was designing the game around 2 heroes, Chain and Fi. Those were apparently the heroes the game was designed around. He's a fast character with long combat chains, and his name is derived from the word fire. Fi has a phoenix motif. He has it because his people are nomads, because their home gets swept up by lava every now and then. He's a leader of the rebellion, fated to rise against the dragon. Which, by the way, is just like
fucking
the fact
awesome.
that
An awesome way to answer that question.
Yeah, like that's legendary, right? Like he's fated to rise up against the dragon. You're like, I don't know what's happening right now, but I'm in. I'm sold. Like I'm all in.
Yeah.
That was blue. I loved that one. That was great. So I'm really interested in Fi. Saying that he has like long combat chains interests me a lot.
The fact that he's pointing out the long combat chains,
like his long what?
When we already have like combat chains that are fairly long, like saying like, Fi's got long ones. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? Is that like
Fi's got a long one?
Yep.
You heard it here first. Fi's got a long one.
Good for Fi.
Good for Fi. Good on you, man. Good on you. Question number 11.
Oh my god. Sorry.
Okay.
Side tangent.
Do it.
Dude, I was driving downtown yesterday and I saw a homeless guy with the biggest dick I've ever seen. Like
what?
It was.
What are you talking about? You said he saw the homeless guy with the biggest dick he's ever seen. That is what Dane just said.
Well, we're talking about long ones. I literally called Chelsea. I was like, hey, listen, like I need to let this off my chest because like this dude was wearing like a t-shirt as pants, like, and it was like bouncing off of his knee. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Anyways,
so what Dane is saying is, Jason, you need to ask Cody, does he have anything he needs to reveal to us? Does he have anything? This is his chance on the podcast to show.
I'll be honest, what I'm really doing is I'm deterring Jason from making future penis references because I want to let him know that I will go off the rails on weird penis facts.
What I'm looking at is 7 cards in my blood debt with an eclipse, and I had to draw 3 reds to go with my 1 blue, which feels really bad right now. Really bad. Yeah. Feels bad. And Cody's been blocking me like a son of a bitch.
All right. Question number 11. Dash's border. What?
Sorry, I was going to say, are we moving on from that? Because like Fi. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Go back. Go. We're good. We can talk about it.
No, so we pointed out, or Jason, remember, like it was like 2 episodes ago. Jason was like, "What does Fi and is it Dromai? What are they? Where do they come from? Where are their names from?" And I was like, "Probably Fire and Dragon." So I just want to pat myself on the back quick. That like, I got totally vindicated there. Anyways,
question 11. Dash's border. What's up with that? Is it a talent? That was the question, which I hope that was how somebody asked it. I hope somebody got in front of a group of players. James White, Dash's border. What's up with that? Is it a talent? I just assumed that guy was from New York. He's like, what's up with that, James? Huh? Is it talent? What's up, James? Come on. And then just like walked away. Didn't even wait for the answer, just left.
That's all I got. Fuck off.
That's all I got, James. Come on, James. Come on, give us an answer, James. All of our New York subscribers just hate us now because they're like, that's not what we sound like.
Yeah, fuck off, you guys. We don't want to hear that shit.
You guys suck. We don't want to hear that. Don't talk about us like that, It's funny because
true story. True story. As we're laying the plane, like kitty corner to me was 2 New Yorkers, and I was listening to her talk. I'm like, oh, it's fucking amazing. I love the East Coast. I love the talk. I love it.
Yeah. I think anybody who's honest with himself understands that you just have a regional dialect and it happens. There's nothing you can do about it. Minnesotans, a lot of times you'll catch us with like long vowels and we don't mean to do it. We try to contain it inside of us.
No,
there's like
I don't try.
you just accept it. You're like,
just is
it's
a thing.
it's a
You just
thing.
gotta
We're from
accept-
Minnesota. You're from Minnesota.
Self-conscious. Don't be
Yeah.
self-conscious about who you are. You know, you just
Yeah,
gotta
who you are
let
there.
it out.
Yeah, just let it
Be
out.
yourself.
Yeah. You betcha.
So Dash's Border, what's up with that? It's kind of both. It's a funky thing. It's a class, but it's a funky class. You guys will see there's a reason why.
I'll accept that.
I don't know what it means, but I'm very interested. So
Yeah, but we'll find out why.
question number 12, will you go on some Sorry, my wife just texted me. She's out of town, so I just got distracted by my phone for a second. Will you go on tour for some of the premier tournaments? Are you planning to go to battle hardened in, say, Greece, the Askers' home country? So they were from, absolutely. We're just getting started here, man. We're only 2 years in, so it sounds like they're ready to roll. Like they are going to travel.
That's cool.
They're all in. So
down for
sorry,
that.
give me 2 seconds.
This is like really wild, honestly. I was thinking about this after we were talking about the lore, because we were talking about how like they had announced a little bit about like the lore plans and how they'd had writers and stuff, and like you had said something in our chat about how cool it is to be a part of the content creation and like participating in a company who has got this game kind of from the ground floor. Like we were basically there from the beginning, like it's at least in America, like we were like one of the first couple of content creators actually putting shit out on the United States side. Like being there from the beginning with that, it's really wild to see something actually pan out, because we kind of hedged our bets a little bit with like DBS, and like we were kind of doing a little bit of both. And then as soon as like Fab really picked up, we were like, yeah, okay, fuck all these other games, like let's go Fab. Like being in from the ground floor, it's been so wild to see them do well and see them do the things that we've watched other companies struggle with, or we've watched like just fucking hiccups not be hit by this awesome company. Like it's really cool. It's really, really cool to be a part of it. So if you're part of the community at all right now, fucking that's sweet, dude.
Yeah.
It's so much
fun. Being grateful, it's hard. It's easy to forget how grateful we should all be or how hard LSS has worked to get to where they are. Like they have really, really worked so hard to do what they've done. And I think people sometimes forget like how hard it is to make it in any business in the world, let alone in the trading card world. And they've done it with like the way that they've done it. I think we talked about this in one of our group chats today. The way that they've done it with like a personal touch means a lot. Like it means a lot that they recognize and still notice the game is growing. They're spreading out and working really hard. They continue to do great things in the community. They listen to the community. They're interactive with the community. They want to be a part of the community. It's like the fact that it's just amazing. It's so impressive.
Well, and also like just the care with which they do things is like it was delayed because of reasons, but like we got our content creator appreciation kit, and like I got like a signed letter from LSS, and it's cool. It's cool that they're putting this much effort in. It's cool that they like take
it means a lot
care and thought. So that's it.
Back to the questions.
What I was gonna say,
go ahead.
Sorry, was that like I know there's people out there that are gonna like take the side of they're a business, they're out to make money. Like yes, that is the case. Like we're not arguing that, but the fact that they can still put themselves into that business and that makes them money, like that is cool. That's the cool thing. Yeah. So yes.
Let's be honest. Yeah, typically companies don't put the CEO and the guy in charge on a microphone in front of people asking him questions in a way that's not something companies do in modern times because it's
smaller.
It's right? asking for issues.
The counterpoint there is that like they're a smaller company. They just started.
100%.
Putting a little more like legwork into it. Like that's fair too.
Right.
But if that's the case, and like say in 5 years, like we don't hear from James White and all that stuff. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just saying if that's the case, be like super happy that we're getting it now and we're on the ground floor.
It ever happened. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's really it's a cool thing. So just be happy about it. Be positive because it's a fucking sweet game.
Yeah. So question 13, are we going to be playing in New Zealand and will it be in the Shire? It is not. It's too much of an ask, way too hard to ask everyone to come. We're going to have a special event in New Zealand, an invitational of select community members and top players. The World Championship will be in the States. So, I mean, I'm more disappointed that we won't actually physically be playing in the Shire. I would have liked, instead of table numbers, to be sent to a specific hobbit hole, like to go play. You have to go play in Bilbo's house, or you got to go to play, like I wanted that, really bad.
Yeah.
I'm not being, that's being facetious, but
I will say
it would have been funny.
reading this answer and realizing that we weren't going to get anything like major in New Zealand, because like I've already got approval on like a New Zealand trip, like with the wife, like that's like a thing that we can go do. I might stretch it like for one of the callings and be like, oh, it's this big tournament, because they're not gonna, like, Chelsea's not gonna know the difference. I love you, Chelsea, if you happen to be listening to this part of the podcast. But like they're not gonna know. So like, yeah, it's this huge tournament. Like all players around the world are going to New Zealand. We gotta go. It's just gonna be like a calling, and it'll be amazing.
Okay, it'd be great. Question 14: do you think players have been doing a good job at adapting to the meta? He said, great question. Depends on how good the player is. Players who spend the time will adapt. Which I think it's an honest and accurate answer. It's correct, right? Like,
yeah,
the players who have spent the time find the adaptations.
The thing is, though, is that like it's also a bit of a non-answer too. Is like the fact that like, yeah, good players will adjust. It's like, okay, cool. Like, does that mean that good players will play the good deck and play it better than other players playing the good deck? Does that mean that players will find the solution with a 1.5 deck? Like it means
it's like an
nothing,
interview,
honestly.
An interview with Herm Edwards. You play to win the game. Right. Like, well, but what is there more to that? You play to win the game. So
yeah, just like good old John Madden. You just gotta you gotta take your life goes to 0, and then you
yeah. I hope people appreciate John Madden all over the world, like Americans do. Question number 15.
How do you not?
I know. I mean, he's the great one. So, question number 15. Necromancer, when? Metrics, when? Can we get a future with more draft formats per year where we get 2 draftable formats per year? James White's answer was 6 months for draftable sets per year right now. We don't want to do more than 4 booster sets per year too fast. 2 draftable sets per year. And then Necromancer will be coming eventually. All the lore book classes will. So confirmation that what we expected, which is all the lore book classes are going to make their way into the game, has been 100% confirmed from the mouth of Baker.
Cool.
I do like that answer of like 6 months for draftable sets.
I want Assassin right now.
Yeah. I like
weird,
this.
Dude, I'll be honest. I want some weird like Thorns damage.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be a cool mechanic. Anyways.
Question number 16. This one's pretty cool. What does the first Pro Tour mean to you? He said, I've been in the industry for 20 years, starting with running Magic events independently. This is one of the highlights of my life. This is the mission. This is my mission. I feel so grateful. 1,100 players in this event, Pro Tour and calling. It's got to be, you have to feel at this moment, you have to appreciate how cool this moment probably is for James White. Mm-hmm. Like anybody who's ever done anything, whether that's, be a parent or own a business or, you can pick a million different things, but like that moment where you see something come to fruition that you've invested, a life into, it's cool, man. It's a cool thing. It's gotta be pretty emotional. I know, Alan posted about that, who runs the competitive stuff. He posted about how emotional this moment is and how important it is for the game and what it means. And I really appreciate, not even being there, just seeing everyone's the outpouring of appreciation for this, all the players who are there and people talking about how much it means to them and how excited they are. It's really cool to see something like this, even from our side of things as players and content creators, people who've been invested in the game now for a long time. to see the Pro Tour come to fruition is so cool.
Mhm.
And even if it's just through pictures right now and, living vicariously through everybody who's there, it's absolutely awesome to see this happening,
Yeah, it's
So
gotta be wild. It's gotta be a wild ride for everyone at LSS, like seeing this come to this head. Like it's sweet and like just such a good. It's such a good mile marker for things to come to.
yeah,
Kilometer marker, I guess, if you're watching from other countries.
kilometer from 8 shekels. That's a lot, Jason. Oh, we lost him.
All right. Oh, I'm not gonna do the flip flop thing.
Oh, there he goes. He's back. He's back. It's okay. He's taking up his square now, right?
He is, yeah. So we can keep going.
Okay. Questions. What's up? Go ahead.
Because you held on too long for Eclipse and then kill yourself.
Worth it.
But I still played him, and that's all that matters. Ursur's on the table.
I mean, that's the definition of just gonna send it.
It was. I sent it. Cody blocked the shit out of me.
That's a fucking great segue. I'm to take a play from Jason's book. Is I'm gonna just say that's a segue. Ready?
Yep.
We got
yeah.
We got our LSS appreciation kit. So we got the Eclipse mat. We got the Cody. We got the Bone Throne mat.
The bone. He's calling it the Bone Throne mat.
We got Cataclysm.
That's what I
should never put that there.
That's what I called my car in high school. Called it the Bone Throne.
God,
and Cody gave us that's what he said on that one. So
and then we're gonna be giving away. We've got 7 full play sets of the Herald. It's the Herald of Rebirth.
Rebirth. Yeah. There it is. Yeah.
Herald of Rebirth for it. So yeah, we're gonna be giving those away, and it's gonna be a little bit of a slow burn this time because last time was just a fucking kick in the nuts for our wallets for shipping. So this time it's gonna be like slow burn delayed out. So just be on the lookout on our channel for community posts and us to talk about it and post in the comments about ways that you can win. So that's the plan with that. But anyway, sorry, you were talking about Eclipse.
Right, no, we're good.
Oh, shit, we got that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got five questions left, I think. So we're making good time. Question number 17. This is a quick one. Will Kano be getting an uprising spoiler? James White answered. No answer.
So what does that mean?
I don't know.
Means no.
I mean,
so he didn't say yes. That would be an easy way. That's an easy way to answer that, right? Is yes, and leave it at that. He said no answer,
which also isn't no.
It's not no. He could have said no, but also no kills a fun vibe for people that are interested. Yeah. So it makes me think like Kano's not getting anything specifically, you know.
So let's go off the wheels a little bit here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask a Q&A
I love how
question.
Blake and I are both just like, obviously.
Yeah.
What is Rudy and his cronies and Saint Hung? Is it Saint Hung or Hung Saint?
Saint Hung.
Is he a Hung Saint or is he a Saint Hung? Because if he's a Hung Saint, I mean that's probably the name I'm going with. I'm probably not going Saint Hung. I'm going with the Hung Saint. But anyway, they all on the elevator. What are they all doing in James White's bedroom right now, or hotel room, whatever you want to call it? What is happening in there?
I don't know. It's a meeting.
That's
of the minds.
True question. Is it? Is it
I don't know.
The meeting of the minds?
So have you guys?
Or is it the meeting of the pockets?
Have you seen this? There's a show I just started watching. Chelsea fucking hates it, but I made her watch it like part of the first episode. It's called The Pentaverate. It's a Mike Myers show.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Did you?
Watch it all.
I just started it. I just started it. I'm excited. I feel like there's a little bit of like an Illuminati thing happening maybe.
There's zero plot. If you just want to hear really funny jokes randomly thrown out throughout TV show, which I enjoyed. I told her
100%. I started watching it. I was like, okay, this is just comfort food show for me. Like, this is not like something I'm getting invested in.
That's what he did. It was comfort food.
Yeah.
That's Michael Myers.
That's Mike Myers, right?
I was like, this
Mike
is
Myers
just like
does that.
This is just a series.
You ever seen Wayne's World?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. There's one point where they say, and it's Jordan Michael Key that they're asking this to, and they go,
Don't
so decide. I'm spoiling it. Do you choose the key or the peel? And they're saying pill, but peel. They're saying it like that. And he just looks at the camera and goes, "Oh, come on now." It's amazing.
I mean,
like that.
Right.
I just love that.
I'm
I hate
all
that
in.
shit.
Like my some of my favorite shows of all time have always been fourth wall breaking shows. I love the random moments where
You
they break
love
the fourth
Psych.
wall.
Yeah, you love Psych.
I do love
Yeah.
Psych. I like humor about yourself. Like
Yeah.
I like shows that are self-aware. That's my favorite kind of humor. So
Do you like stupid dick jokes? Because if you do, you'll love this show.
I mean, I'm all in. I was just gonna say I need vindication from people in the comments if you're listening this far that other people in the world like Psych, because at this point in my life, I'm convinced it's just me and my wife. Like we're the only two people who have ever truly watched and loved the show.
That's how I feel. Okay, ready? That's how I feel about Ted Lasso. I have told so many people like you need to watch Ted Lasso, and no one does. No one ever gets back to us. It's the most feel good, amazing show. And no one ever confirms that they watch it. So if you watch it, I want vindication too. So Psych and Ted Lasso.
So here's the thing. I can tell you right now, I will watch Ted Lasso in 2 years because that's how I function as a human. I watch things like 4 years after it comes out, and then I just watch it all. It's just for some reason that's like how my brain has now been
Chelsea and I are on our 5th rewatch right now because it's just good. It's just like a really great show to like watch, and like his jokes are fucking hilarious and they make me laugh every time. And at this point, we laugh about things that I say, like in repetition of like, you said that last time we watched this part, like that shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Anyways, way out.
Anyways, we're back. We're back on question number 18.
It's getting harder
what about
to stay on? This is
we're so close to the end. We're so close to the end. This is like a marathon, mile 18. You're stumbling across, your feet are burning, you've got blisters, you're sunburnt, you're peeing yourself. It's a nightmare, but you're just
all of that with just being like slightly inebriated and like
100%. That's the issue.
Yeah.
That's 100% the issue. Question 18. What about Everfest met your expectations and what didn't? All in all, it's been well received. When you put Starro to the side, Icelander made him happy, doing well at Krakow. Fry was made specifically to break up the interaction between Scaletta and Sonata, so that was great. That's really interesting. A lot of the talismans and amulets look so-so on the surface, and we're starting to see some of them make decks. Hot tip from James White: invest in the cold foil talismans. They're cheap. I think you guys have yet to see the best of Flesh and Blood.
The talisman?
I mean, he said it, man. It's from the mouth of the creator. Thank the maker. Come on.
I think that there's going to be some good shit coming out of that. Definitely.
Oh, 100%. Yep. Question number 19. I love social gaming. What do you think PvE would look like in the future, and when can we expect it? So he said aiming for mid. Yeah.
This is my personal favorite question and answer.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking pumped about this.
So he said aiming for mid 2023 launch. It's an important project. Got to get it right. Unlike anything a TCG has done yet, in my view, it's going to be collaborative and campaign based. Play and put it away and come back a week later. All about getting a group of friends together and working together on a common objective. It needs to be really fun, immersive. It'll be the best integration between lore and gameplay when it hits the shelves. I love it. I think I'm happy. I think we've talked about it for a while, and Jason will agree with this 100%. We've talked about it for a while that we don't want PvE rushed. We don't want it pushed out because we don't want it to overshadow anything they're doing with the actual game. But we're all cool with it. None of us have a problem with it. Hopefully this like clears it up once and for all. PvE is fine. It's good that it exists. We're okay with it coming. We just don't want it being more important than the game, because the competitive side of things, you can't do a pro tour and then make PvE like a priority over the actual.
I just want to point out the fact that like I also want all of that too, but like Blake and Jason were just uber negative about it, and like that's why it needs to clarify. Blake and Jason specifically are okay with it, not Dane too, because Dane's always been okay with it. But that's the explanation.
I just don't like when a company tries to do too much and put their hands in too many buckets. And I have nothing wrong with PvE, and I think it's a great community built game.
And to be fair, I think the community has actually there have been some people who have invested a lot of time I think getting the nuts and bolts of it down,
Mhm.
like when they probably took a lot of what the community had already pre-built to start it, you know?
And the fact, well, I love the idea that, like, I saw people commenting and stuff about how they're like, oh, it's gonna be like Dungeons and Dragons, but with like card battles in there. And I was like, I don't know about that, but like, I would be totally cool with like an Arkham Horror. Like, have you guys ever played that
Yeah,
game?
more of an area.
Like
I mean,
I
Arkham's
have.
great.
I personally haven't.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
heard
Arkham's
it's
great.
great.
super fun game, but
Yeah.
like, and like it's like a gradual deck builder and stuff. And like you go through and like play scenarios and stuff. That would be cool. I would like them to put out like a base scenario set or something, and then have the community be like, "Oh, you can also do this," and like make the Ursa
Yeah.
token your big bad or whatever, like shit like
Yeah.
that. Like you can do so many things. So like, it's really cool to hear. I'm really glad that they're gonna.
Yeah.
That coupled with the lore, like the getting fantasy writers to write lore, those
Yeah.
things together is probably the most excited thing that I've heard come out of this so far, because I want so much more about the stories of Wraith, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that they acknowledge it. So happy that they acknowledge that, like, that is a cool piece of this that, you know, they want.
Yeah, I think that the PvE actually is going to fulfill the role that, you know, one of the biggest and most important parts of Magic is their commander format, because that's the casual format. That's the fun format that people play with their friends. They get together. It's the way they show people the game. You know, they're like, hey, I have this fun deck. You can build things in that format that you would never build in another format. You can build, like, you would never play Magic with a group hug deck, but you play Commander where like everybody draws cards. Wee! Everybody gets mana. Wee! Because it's like, it's together. It's all about fun. It's intended to be about the fun and the people togetherness part, not about the competitive nature. And I think with a PvE format, what they're going to do is create that what they initially intended Ultimate Pit Fight to be, which was like Ultimate Pit Fight was kind of like their commander format, I think, coming out of the gates. And they're realizing that that format leaves something to be desired in a lot of ways, because like if you play UPF, it does feel out of balance. If you're not playing 4 people, it feels wonky because you can't just attack anybody at any time. But the way that the game is built and the rule set is based where people draw at the end of their turns, you can't also allow people to just attack somebody, because then 3 people could all just kill somebody on turn 0. So it, like, the structure of the game just doesn't work with that format, because you don't have a ton of ways on other people's turns to draw cards. So like, I think their initial thought was, oh, UPF will be the fun format that people play, like, to have casual fun. But then it didn't really pan out. And then they were like, okay, well, we need something. And then people were like, well, PvE. And they probably saw people's structures and thought, that's it right there. That's the game. That's how we embrace that casual format in this game.
Yeah.
And now they're building that.
I think that there's a handful of things that obviously separate them from like Magic and what Magic is built, right? But I think one of the main things is the fact that Flesh and Blood doesn't have the secondary thing. Like, people play competitive Magic, and then there's people that don't touch competitive Magic and they just play Commander. Flesh and Blood doesn't have that. There's not a group of people that just play UPF. There's not a group of, you know what I mean? Like, it's either you play Fab in its multiple iterations or you don't right now.
Yeah.
There's not a thing where it's like people like, it would be awesome to see people that just play PvE. Like, that's the thing. They bought into that and got that set or whatever it is that comes out eventually. And like, that's what they do, is they love playing this, like, quarterly scenarios or whatever it is. Like, that's the thing. That'd be really cool to see. I'd be definitely down to see that.
It supplements some other thing in their life, like Arkham Horror, their Arkham Horror group or their D&D group. They get together with that same group and they play PvE. They have fun with it. Right, let's see where we at. Question number 20. The art of the new set is great. This one's actually a great question. The art of the new set is great. How much of a big fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender are you? James said, I've never seen it. I'm not part of the creative team, though. The creative team have a lot of independence over what the characters look like. We try to stay true to Fab being a unique and original IP. I think we've realized at this point that they're very on the nose with, like, character design or names or things being kind of funny or a little bit, you know, very on the nose. We've acknowledged that at this point. But it's funny to me that like James is like, I've never seen Avatar, because you have to assume once everything was approved and through, somebody's like, hey James, just so you know, Fi looks exactly like Zuko. I just so you know,
It just like the whole vibe too. Like James,
the
there's
vibe.
no
Yep.
way that James has not gotten a dossier about like.
Yeah.
By the way, Kano, like pretty much Fire Lord Ozai,
He's
and like
he's pretty
Vi,
much Fire Lord
basically
Ozai.
Zuko, Dromai,
Yep.
Azula. You know, like it's the whole. He's like, I don't know what any of that means. So like, we're gonna let her.
Yeah.
We're gonna let her go. Like, I don't recognize any of these people, so that's cool. Oh, the scar on
Yeah.
half the face, that's really dope. Like, run with that.
Yeah, he totally. I mean, he doesn't have a ponytail and like a bald most of his head, so he's definitely not Zuko. But all right, and then here it is, the final question, question 21. The answer to this question is part of the reason that I love that James White runs this company, and I'm just going to say it before I even answer. Before I read the question and answer. It's moments like these where I go, you know what? This is why James White is the best. Okay, Magic, Bandai, Konami, whoever makes other card games, this is where you can kindly suck it, because you suck and you are not cool like James White. Somebody said, James, will there be NFTs? And James White's answer was, fuck no.
I still don't understand why people buy NFTs. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just the old man inside you, Jason.
Dane should have taken a picture. Dane should have taken a picture of that giant dick, and then he should have NFT'd that thing.
It's like in my brain, man. Like I'm never gonna unsee that. It was so fucking. Dude, it was just you just watch. The thing is like I was just stopped. I didn't have any option, right? Like there was no like opt in to seeing this like really fucking massive penis. It was you're stopped at the stoplight. This dude's walking the crosswalk in front of you. You gotta look at it.
Like, so I have to assume the experience was very much like when you go to like the Y or the health club or LA Fitness or wherever, right? You go to the fitness club and you do not opt in to the experience of butthole. When you like turn a corner and some dude is just like drying his feet.
Yep.
Just ass in the air.
Yep, just exactly. It is actually really
good.
Having been through similar experiences to that as well, that is a very perfect analogy.
You turn the corner and you're like, I did not agree to this.
Cool.
And I feel violated that you did not give me like fair warning.
I
like
assume that it comes with everyone's voucher waiver thing that they sign at the beginning of signing up for Lifetime or Planet Fitness or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like there will be a man blow drying his balls in every male locker room. Do you accept? Check yes. It's like
yeah. Again, in the comments, I'm curious if other people have that experience. Is that like a worldwide phenomenon? Is that just a USA thing?
I want to hear about that actually.
Has everybody had the experience of walking into like a sauna and you walk into the locker room and someone's just blow drying their balls? Because that is 100% a thing that you experience in America. Every day,
70 years old.
Every day.
He's 60 to 80 years old, somewhere in that range, and he's blow drying his balls.
And he's got to hold the blow dryer basically at his ankles to not like burn those things. They're there, man.
Anyways, yeah, we don't need to dwell on it. It'll be burned in my brain forever. So I just hope that somebody else has experienced something similar. So share my pain, but.
Also, going along with question 21, can we just talk about the fact that LSS sends us things to give away, and they give us spoilers when this is part of the content on our channel?
Oh yeah, that's pretty wild. Like you guys have been, okay, ready? I genuinely like to think that at this point they just have a policy where they're like, fucking Outcasts kind of got grandfathered in. They've just been along. They've been here for so long that we just sort of like are obligated to send them shit. And the thing is like I will do this until I die. Like if that's the case, like I'm gonna be grandfathered in. I'm gonna be that guy now these days that still gets the unlimited talk and text because it's the plan that they signed up with Verizon for in like 2007. And it's like, we're getting the fucking unlimited talk and text, and I'm not changing. I'm not doing nothing different.
Whatever it takes to get the talk and text,
Whatever it takes. I still want my
Gotta get-
$9.99 a month for unlimited talk and text.
I
Whatever
want
the fuck it
unlimited.
is.
I want unlimited minutes. I just don't want to be paying for minutes, man. I don't want to be paying for my
You
minutes.
remember when you had to pay by like fucking word? Or
Do you remember when people would send you a text message and you'd panic? You're like,
be
"No, I don't have unlimited text messages. That cost me 10 cents."
Yep. Yep.
Now you pay like $14 a gallon for gas.
Oh my god. I didn't fill up my tank, but when I was driving today, I had to fill up I put in like a quarter tank at $4.29.
Dude,
This is fucking miserable.
I had to
hate
fill my
this.
tank up today, and I like, I did my routine. I don't know if everybody else has like the fill up the car routine. You get it going. You got to clean the trash out of your car. You maybe make sure your windows are clean and stuff. I went back to the pump and I saw the number at it. I'm like, is it like overflowing? Like, what is going on right now? I thought it was like pouring
come up and take my pump out and put it in his car and then put it back in my car.
Like, oh man, it's painful. It hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt my heart.
Right now.
It'll do that.
All right.
You guys got anything else for me tonight?
I don't. Cody, does Cody have anything? He's been sitting here through this whole
Cody,
thing.
you got anything?
Cody,
got
we're
anything?
giving you open range because
Just tell him this is open mic night for Cody.
Yeah, be his words of advice: be a hung saint, not a saint hung.
I like it. Okay.
All right, cool.
I agree with that.
All right, everybody, have an awesome weekend. Hope you guys enjoy the Pro Tour info and all of the news that's going to be coming out about the Pro Tour. If you're there, kick ass. Good luck. If you're not, hope that you are following along and having a good time. And we will, we will talk to you all next week. Peace.
Yeah. Peace.
See ya.